Hey everybody, and welcome to another Spartacus game dev update. Up to number 11 now. Can you believe it? It's really starting to come together as a game. It's been a couple of weeks since the last update, and some of the things I've been working on I can't actually show you because I want to surprise you at the end of the game. And one of those things is actually the game introduction animation. I posted a little screen grab from it on Twitter, showing some of the prisoners preparing to escape the Ludus dungeon. But the whole animation and the sequence and so on, yeah, it's something that I think I don't want to spoil just yet. I've also done the end of level screen stuff where, you know, you get the score for your level and shows you how many, slaves you rescued, that kind of thing. But that's another one I want to show off a bit later in the development cycle. So what do I have to show you today? Well, we do have something, and that is secondary weapons. And that's a big part of the game, and it's something that I didn't plan early on. But let's jump over to Unity now, and I'll talk a little bit more about secondary weapons in the game. Now, secondary weapons actually came about when I was playing Ghouls and Ghosts and watching some videos of Castlevania 4 and a few of those classic games in that era. And I noticed one thing they all had in common, and that is ranged weapons. And up until now, Spartacus only had a sword, and he had a couple of combo attacks with a sword. But I hadn't really planned to have any ranged weapons. But I got thinking it might be cool to have them in a limited quantity. So you find chests and so on, and you get a weapon, but you can only use it 5 or 10 times and then it disappears, because I don't want you to be able to rely on these things. I still want the combat in the game to be primarily hand-to-hand combat with the shield block and that kind of thing, but adding these weapons actually adds some kind of tactics to the game and a little bit of randomness, which I quite like. So I'm going to show you what we've done in terms of random weapons. First of all, we have a weapons rack. And that's the weapons rack here. As you can see, a couple of bits of wood and some, there's a dagger and a hand axe and a few other bits and pieces there, a spear, a javelin. Now, these behave a little bit like the bookshelf that I showed you in a previous video. When you move up to them, it triggers a little animation of the weapon you're about to collect. Then you jump up and you grab that weapon, and then it's yours. And when you do that, you'll also get some ammo. So let's have a look at that in action. It's really zoomed in now. The game's not normally going to be this zoomed in. So move along here. That's our weapons rack. So in this instance, we've got a spear. So I really actually want to zoom out to show you that properly. I'll do that again with a back to zoom, because I want to show you also the interface up here. You'll also notice I've got a countdown clock up here. Well, it's actually a timer clock. It doesn't count down, it counts up. But this will be something to do with your score at the end of the level. The faster you finish a level, the more points you get, as well as getting points for keys and gems and that kind of thing from chests and killing enemies. All right, so we do it again. This time it's a dagger. I found a throwing weapon. And now you'll see up here 10 times daggers. And if we do that a third time, we might get a different weapon. Try it again. Dagger again. Well, it is random. There are 4 weapons to choose from. So we've got our primary attack, of course. We've got our sword like this. And we have our shield. But a third button allows us to throw a weapon. So I'm going to throw this at the door and it'll shatter on impact. There it is. There is no actual proper animation for the player throwing a weapon just yet. But you'll notice 4 daggers, 3 daggers. These have a different properties on them. The dagger, you'll notice, the throwing dagger, slowly has a bit of gravity on it, has a bit of an arc that goes down. When it hits something, it does minimal damage. Some damage, but not as much as the other weapons. Let's try that again and get a different weapon. And if we don't, I'll still try using that weapon on an enemy. We've got a javelin now. So using the javelin, doesn't have as much of an arc. See, it dips a lot more, but it's more powerful. I'm going to use this on... see that text there? That's a bug. When you have two text displays that happen all at once, it screws up. But I'm going to fix that in the future. Now there's these hellhound dogs over here, which I'm going to throw a weapon at. Attack them from range. Get a little closer. Javelin is a lot more powerful. Well, but it actually... Well... you can see there the javelin... oh, the dog's back. He threw me over here. It actually sailed over their head because the javelin's arc is a bit higher. And I'm going to play around with these and just experiment with different combinations. So we're going to use it on this archer here. Oh, actually... Whoa. Pick up another weapon instead. Daggers. All right, we'll use the dagger. So far we've had javelins and daggers. We haven't had the Greek fire yet, but I'm going to force that. Well, he shot us, probably got a couple of daggers into him. What I'm going to try and do, and I haven't actually tested this out yet, but I'm going to try not using random on the weapons rack. So, weapons rack, loot here. Is that on the actual weapons rack element? I'll show you the weapons rack out of interest. And this has, if you open the prefab, this has a light source on it, a little red glow, has a little star particle when you get your weapon. And it has a sprite animation with just 2 frames. And you can see, actually I want to change that to weapons rack. Closed. You can see that here. That's just the 1 frame. And then the open, actually, 2 bugs. Closed, oh no. Action. Where is it? Weapons rack. There you go. That's the open one, which is just the same frame. These are 1 frame animations, that's all I need. But what I wanted to show you was the weapons rack weapon that gets spawned. We fire that one up. This has 4 sprites in it. Javelin, Greek fire, dagger, and the axe. And they're just, they get called up when one is spawned. And I can randomly generate one, or I can select one by hand. I'm going to try selecting the Greek fire. I don't know if it'll work because I haven't tested it out yet. Because usually I want the player to randomly get an item. Alright, so... yeah, cool. We've got the Greek fire. 10 times Greek fire. Now this is a heavy pot of this kind of noxious flammable gas that's actually a real thing. It's not green that I know of, like you see in the video, but I think it's more fun if it's this kind of green, sort of fantasy looking thing. But they used this back in the day, and it was quite a powerful random weapon. So I'm going to try it. Put that there, and it creates a lovely noxious gas and a little screen shake. And try getting a little closer to those. Actually, you know what? Those dogs are too fast. I'm going to try it on the soldier over here. There's a bookshelf. We can get a book. So I drop that off there. Climb up here. Okay, the range of that is still too short. I'm going to be editing that. But this should work. Yep, killed him. Oh, it killed us too. All right. So that's the Greek fire. And the 4th weapon I wanted to show you. I'm actually thinking about adding a couple more weapons when I think about them. Maybe like holy water type thing from Ghouls and Ghosts. And maybe a discus that bounces. We'll see. Let's go with the hand axe. And you'll see this one has a really high arc on it compared to a regular flat arc of the other ones. This is the hand axe. When I fire it, need to get a little closer. It's actually pretty hard to hit with these. I haven't really tested them. They're probably good against... yeah, the arc on this is probably too high, and I'm going to play around with that because... there you go, I got him, but that's a pretty high arc. I probably would edit the gravity. I might be able to do that now. So let's go to the hand axe bullet, and we'll change the gravity on that. So a bit more gravity. And then I have a player projectile script that I've written, and we'll change the bullet speed just a little. It might just make that a bit more usable, because that arc is something crazy. So trying that again now. That's probably too much, but we'll see. Oh yeah, that works. Somewhere in between those two anyway. So that's pretty much it for today with the weapons. As I said, I do want to create a few extra weapons. I'll be placing weapons throughout the level. Most levels, if not all levels, can be finished without using those throwing weapons, but they will make Spartacus' journey through the various areas a little easier. Next up, I'm going to be starting on building proper levels themselves. I want to start off with the tutorial level. And then I'll be building the mines tile set. And I just got that from Artem Brulov, my great artist friend, who has done the amazing pixel art for this game. He's actually worked on a game called Blasphemous, who I don't know if you may have heard of. And that's a upcoming sort of Dark Souls style platform game, which is incredible. It's like at $1 million budget or something. So, you know, the art in that game is something special. But he's done some of the art for Spartacus, and he did some of the art for that, so you might notice some similarities. But I'll be putting his mines tile set into the game in the next couple of weeks, and hopefully showing you a little bit of that, because that mines tile set will represent the first, once you get out of this little tutorial Ludus dungeon area, the mines tile set will represent the first 10 levels of the game or so. But that's really it for today. It's a fun game to develop. I am enjoying it, but it's taken a while. I didn't realize, I mean, I kind of knew, but I'd never actually built a platform game with this kind of complexity in it. I'd built a couple of Flash platform games before, but they were a fair bit simpler. And this one, as well as compounding that with learning Unity as I go, has been a bit of a challenge. And I will have this finished before the end of the year, but maybe not in August, September as I'd first hoped. It could be a bit later. But we shall see, and I look forward to showing you more in the coming weeks. All right, everybody, thank you for joining me today. Let me know what you think of the game in the comments, and speak to you real soon. Bye for now.